Good morning, students. In this video, we are going to discuss about the anatomy of dicot and monocot leaves. And in the previous videos, we have dealt with the anatomy of stem, both monocot and dicot stems and roots. So now comes about the leaf. So when considering a leaf has two sides, no? Or upper side and a lower side. You may have noticed that ഒരു planar structure ആണല്ലോ ലീഫിന്, unlike that of root and stem. ഈ ഒരു planar structure ആകുമ്പം അതിനൊരു upper side and lower side ഉണ്ട്. Upper side is also known as adaxial side and the lower side is known as abaxial side. Okay, abaxial lower, adaxial upper. Okay, so ഈ ഒരു ഫിഗറിനകത്തിൽ it just shows an anatomy of a leaf, and here you can see this is one side and this is the other side, and this sliced portion, this shows the anatomy. Okay, so see, this is the upper epidermis, and towards the inside it is showing different layers, and this is the midrib or the veins. These are the conductive elements in leaves. So this is how an anatomy or the inner view of a leaf looks like. So coming to the section of a dicot leaf is dorsiventral, that is its upper side and lower side. We can differentiate between the upper and lower sides. And the upper epidermis, it has two epidermis, upper and lower epidermis, while in case of stems and root we didn't have that kind of two upper and lower epidermis, only a single epidermis was there. But in case of leaf, as it has two sides, two opposite sides, there is epidermis is having in two ways, that is this is the upper epidermis and this is the lower epidermis. So epidermis, it has two divisions, upper and lower epidermis, or we can say adaxial epidermis and abaxial epidermis. And all other features are similar to that of the epidermal layer, that is the cells are parenchyma cells and they are closely packed, compactly packed, and they are having the what you call the stomata for gaseous exchange and transpiration. So stomata are there, and outside the epidermis they are having a thick layer of cutin, and that cuticle is also present there, and it is impervious to water. It provides protection against pathogens, and it also helps to reduce water loss also. So all these we have discussed in case of stem and root. The same things are repeated here, so nothing new there. All the features of epidermal layers are similar, unless that it is having two epidermis, upper and lower one. Please note that point. And numerous openings, that is the stomata, are seen on the epidermis of leaves, and it helps in gaseous exchange. And in case of dicot, the guard cells, the stomatal guard cells, they are kidney shaped. So dicot is having kidney shaped guard cells. Okay, and it is chlorophyll containing also, and this guard cell, kidney shaped guard cells, is surrounded by subsidiary cells. Okay, and then the next layer, this green colored layer, this is the upper epidermis, and this lower green colored layer, this is the lower epidermis. And after the epidermis then comes the next region, that is the mesophyll. Okay, so this mesophyll, it comprises of chlorenchymatous cells. Thin walled chlorenchyma cells are there, and these chlorenchyma cells are seen in between the upper and lower epidermis. These are the chlorenchyma cells. Okay, And in case of dicots, this mesophyll, they can be differentiated into two different kinds. The upper one, this region, it is the palisade parenchyma or palisade mesophyll, and which is comprised of palisade cells, and the lower region, this loosely arranged region, that is the spongy cells or spongy mesophills. So what is the difference? As you can see here, this palisade layer or palisade parenchymas, they are arranged so closely, they are closely packed, and also the shape varies. Palisade cells, they are columnar in shape, elongated cells, columnar cells, and numerous chloroplasts are there, and they are actively involved in photosynthesis. They are the centers of photosynthesis. Okay. So, and this compactness of this palisade layer, it depends upon the intensity of light to which the particular leaf is exposed. That is, if the leaves are receiving high intensity sunlight, it will be having more compact palisade layer, and if it is receiving only low intensity light, the condition will be the reverse one. So then comes the spongy layer. Spongy layer, as you can see here, it is different from this palisade layer. No, you can see this layer here, the cells, they are thin walled and they are irregularly shaped. They are loosely arranged with a lot of intercellular spaces in between. So large intercellular spaces you can see here, and this spongy tissue, it is concerned with photosynthesis and also gaseous exchange. So mesophyll is the layer between the upper and lower epidermis. This mesophyll, in case of dicots, they are differentiated into two types, palisade and spongy. Palisade, they are columnar cells, compactly arranged cells, lot of chloroplasts are there involved in active photosynthesis, and the compactness, it depends upon the intensity of light it receives. And the second layer, it is the spongy parenchyma layer, and this spongy parenchyma layer comprises of loosely arranged irregular cells, and they are having large amount of intercellular spaces in between. Okay. And then comes the vascular region. This vascular region, in case of leaves, it you can see the midrib of a leaf, and a lot of veins and veinlets can be seen through a leaf, and these are the vascular system of a leaf. So the midrib, veins, veinlets constitute the vascular or the conductive elements of a leaf. And these vascular bundles, they are distributed irregularly in the spongy mesophyll, and the type of vascular bundles, as you can see here, they are conjoined, collateral and closed. They are conjoined, collateral and closed. I don't have to again and again repeat what this conjoined, collateral and closed mean. That you have already learnt, I think. So the leaves of dicot, they are having conjoined, collateral and closed bundles. Okay. And leaf xylem, it is formed of vessels, tracheids and xylem parenchyma. And a phloem, it consists of seed tubes, companion cells and phloem parenchyma. Okay. In some cases, in most cases, this vascular bundle, they are surrounded by a layer, a parenchymatous layer, which forms a sheath or a covering around them, and that is called as bundle sheath. Okay. That is all about this section of a dicot leaf. And coming to the monocot leaves, they stand erect, and both of the surface, they receive almost same quantity of sunlight. So the leaves are isobilateral, while in dicot it was dorsiventral. Okay, two sides they were different. We can differentiate between the upper and lower side. But here, and also in dicots, the leaves they are arranged right angle to the stem axis, and here it is arranged as erect. So as the leaves are erect in monocots, the both the sides, upper and lower sides, they receive almost the same quantity of sunlight. So that type of leaves are called as isobilateral leaves. Okay, the internal structure of these isobilateral leaves is only slightly different from that of the dicot type of leaves. And now let's see. Here also we have, as it is leaf, it is having upper and lower epidermis, and parenchymatous rectangular compactly arranged parenchyma cells forms the epidermis. It has a cuticular layer and they have stomata. And in case of monocots, the upper epidermis, mostly in case of grasses, that is grasses, they come under monocots, right? So the upper epidermis, they have a particular type of cells which is fan shaped or like bubble shaped or fan shaped cells, and that are known as bulliform cells or motor cells. Okay, and they are located along the grooves between the parallel veins. We know that monocot leaves, they are having parallel venation. So the veins, they run parallelly, and in between the parallel veins they have some grooves, and that grooves will be containing this bulliform cells or motor cells. Okay, and this bulliform cells, they have thin walls, and what are they meant for? They are meant for rolling and unrolling movement of the leaf, because it is actually a mechanism for prevention of water loss. So rolling occurs by the rapid loss of water, and that is probably during the dry conditions. And when the water again comes to the optimum level, the leaves, they unroll. Okay, so this rolling and unrolling movements, which are meant for water regulation or water to prevent water loss, these movements are happening because of these bulliform cells or motor cells. And where are they situated? They are situated along the grooves of the cells, and these grooves are seen in between the parallel veins. So please note, bulliform cells, they may be important, and they may be asked for your exams under the 2 marks questions. They are regularly being asked, so please note this. And also there are stomata, and this stomata in monocots, the guard cells of stomata, they are which shape? They are dumbbell shaped. In dicot it was kidney shaped. When coming to monocot, it is dumbbell shaped, and they will be surrounded by subsidiary cells, and the number may vary from 2 to many. Okay, that is all about the epidermis. Then the next layer is mesophyll. Mesophyll is the layer extending between the upper and lower epidermis, and since the leaf is isobilateral, it is not differentiated into palisade and spongy layers, as we can see in dicot. Here you can see that only uniform or homogeneous type of cells are there. So in monocots, please note that cortex is not differentiated into palisade and spongy tissues. And mesophyll cells, they are thin-walled, isodiametric and chlorophyll containing cells actively involved in photosynthesis. This vascular tissue, next region is the vascular tissues. Vascular tissues, they are obviously conjoined, collateral and closed bundles. and the venation is parallel. These bundles or the veins, they run parallelly in rows. And most of the bundles, the size will be small, and large bundles occur at only regular intervals. So that is all about section of a monocot leaf. So coming to the difference, please try to recollect the difference between a dicot leaf and a monocot leaf. First, dicot leaf, it is dorsiventral, whereas in monocots it is isobilateral. Then coming to the stomata. Stomata in dicot, they are one thing I just skipped mentioning, that is about the number of stomata. In case of the dicot leaves, the number of stomata, they are restricted to the lower epidermis, because upper epidermis is receiving more light as they are arranged right angle to the stem axis. So the upper epidermis, as it receives more amount of sunlight, if these stomatas, they are located more on the upper epidermis, then they open and a lot of water will be lost through transpiration. So in order to prevent that, the dicot leaves, they are having more amount of stomata on the lower surface. So that is a mechanism to prevent water loss. But in case of monocots, as the leaf arrangement is isobilateral, they are arranged erectly. So as we have already mentioned, both the surface receives almost equal amount of light. So in that case, we should not have to restrict the number of stomata at any particular side. So both the surface stomata will be equally distributed in the upper and lower epidermis. Now coming to the shape of guard cells. In dicot it is kidney shaped, and in monocot it is dumbbell shaped. Now coming to the bulliform cells. Bulliform cells are absent in dicot, it is present in monocot. And coming to the mesophyll. Mesophyll is differentiated into palisade and spongy in dicot, and no the type of differentiation in case of monocot. Bundle sheath extension is parenchymatous in dicot. Bundle sheath extension is there in monocot also, but it is sclerenchymatous. So these are the difference in anatomy regarding monocot and dicot leaves. Okay. So please go through the video. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Thank you.